So it's not it's delay. So we have been discussing audit. We have started last class 2 weeks before. Last class I told that. So 2 weeks before we started to discuss about audit. Audit introduction has given, and now we have been discussing engagement letters. Acting the job. So we will continue today in the engagement letter acting the job. And after that we will move on to frauds and loss in regulation. I'll explain to you. So always I tell one thing is important is starting audit lead. Okay. So if you study level 1 or level 2 another degree program or CEOs, basically it doesn't matter process system. Okay. The concept testing areas, the way of testing only will be vary. Otherwise, the concept is same. Okay, then CAA, security mediator, security mediator, shark camera security mediator, better than mediator, oil concept is the same. Okay, so first of all, you have to remember, you have to keep one point in your mind: audit process. Okay, concepts of audits, concepts of audit must be thoroughly kept in your mind. Okay, so what are the steps in auditing? Ideally, 5 steps. So I have summarized into 4. Third and fourth step I have taken together. So what is the first step? What's the first step? Whatever we discuss in relation to audit or MRC. So the step in audit. Okay, there are wallpaper in the and this to make a photo in the what the first step? What does the 5 months? And the terms. So first step. So we are now in this section. Agree the terms. Okay. After that, audit, planning, and risk assessment. That is the logic. Okay. Why we are mentioning audit as a point one and agreeing the terms as first step, and why after that why we are saying audit planning is second step, and after that why audit procedures should come as third step, and finally audit opinion. So that's it. That's the process. Okay. Another step called step number 4, which is evaluation of audit evidences. So evaluation audit procedures we can combine it. You can say, or else if you want, you can say after audit procedures and audit evidences. If you want, you can say audit evaluation, audit evidence evaluation also at the 4th step. So after that, audit report. So audit planning and risk assessment. Audit evidences and evaluations. Finalization and audit. Okay. So these are the 4 steps, main steps included in the audit process. So these are the main concept. Under this, we have some sub-concepts, subdivisions. So those are we are going to learn one by one. So we are now in this area. Last class we have started to discuss again the terms. agree the terms. Auditor has been appointed. Now, auditor should agree certain terms and conditions with whom? With whom? If you want to agree certain terms and conditions in relation to the work, any work, you have to agree with your counterpart. So here, who's the counterpart? Who's the counterpart? Shareholder. Shareholder. Huh? Who's the counterpart? Short term memory loss. What it is easy, okay? Again, the molecular hormone of the rocket sensor but it is easy. But you have to concentrate on it. Theory again, what it value? What it take a theory subject again. Listen करने की और study करने की और पढ़ना काम है, okay? Then एक हम किया ने अपना 100% practical knowledge जगह थे कम ना, पढ़ते करके हम नहीं किया, ये बात है, देखते क्यों नहीं? But the concept because you don't have any practical knowledge, no. Then I can't expect you will write the answer with the practical knowledge, okay? That level of answer I can't also expect. So you should learn properly. When you learn only one thing you should do. Only one thing. Why they are doing this? That's the logic. Okay. Why this procedure has come to this place? Why we have to agree the terms? Then 100% on that. If you understand 75-80% enough. Okay. You can pass the exam. You can get the A plus also. एक ऐसी practical world लेकर गया practical job लेकर गया ना first rocket लेकर एक in addition to एक बहुत experience नहीं है आपने एक दिन लेकर ओके की learn करने विचार करना है एक वेल में चल रहा है तो ये story है इतना ना गांव में लोग खाना पाना कर रहा है क्या करना पूरा ये एक तरह करने का तो बड़ा हमारा तो बड़ा burden भी दे दिया ना तो बड़ा theory का notes का ready में दिया I request only one thing. Okay, only one. एक अमाउंट क्या मिलता है? Recommendation, advice, order, monopoly क्या करने का? Only one thing you have to do. वैसे ना बिगड़ना ना ये points ठीक है। एक है ही बेहतर नहीं है। है ही अभी मेरे डिस्कस करा। एक इतना प्रोसीजर तैयार है। अरे पिक्चर है ना? एक प्रोसेस है का हम क्यों प्रोसेस आता है ना क्या? एक प्रोसेस है कि इनको सब डिविजन्स। है ही अभी बेहतर नहीं करा। है ही मेरे बेहतर नहीं करा करने के लिए भी तो। है ही मेरे चैप्टर है का बिगड़ना। वो ना इंटरकनेक्टेड. So मेरे में प्रोसेस आता है ना मेरे प्रोसेस आता है ना तो दवाई का पूरी किया गया इतना है वो नहीं है डिस्कस कर मेरे प्रोसेस आता है ना किया ना concepts ठीक है why we are learning this thing if you know that is enough that's the only thing you should do एक तरह का एक करने का मौका है मेरे लिए सब्जेक्ट के काम करना है या मेरे डिस्कस करने की निकाह नमस्कार बिरोला most use video product that software प्यार के रूप में नहीं एक bird okay एक क्या मेरी bird कैसे ये सर sometimes more girl मतलब there is a basically about if you keep all these notes until last moment definitely it will be headache become headache between definitely because notes some kind of things because in some also you should keep until last moment and then you should learn but if you compare both theory and some related subject theory if you keep until last moment it will be a burden headache एक करना स्टडी करना होना भी डॉक्टर प्रश्न है लेकिन देखो माता दान ने या कोहरा दान ने आपकी विधि किया learn this one that's easy Picture aquí no puedo ver cómo se está pegado con guión estaba generando por la oye con guión que práctico de aquí que como era con el media lo con no con practical knowledge que direct practical knowledge को como दिखा सकता है practical experience but I can give some examples so only you should do as I requested earlier, one day you should do why we are learning this topic here. What's the purpose? Simply logic. Only logic etc. So agree with the first pointer. So whatever engagement, okay, forget about the sorting, okay, forget about sorting. Whatever work, if you want to perform, simple example, the last one, if you want to put rent agreement, you get, if you want to get a house for rent, you should put a rent agreement in Lanka. Like you have agreed certain conditions or some information. You are sharing some information. Okay, let's say condition, technical gears. You have given some words to him. He has given some words to you. So those words must be kept in the informal. Right? After 1 year, he can't change his words. You also can't your words. Advance plan. Every month, first renting a paper month, first 2 months in the bank. So you have committed certain things. He also committed certain things. So those commitments must be kept in the informal. So that's all agreement. So if you forget about this audit or some any engagement, if you involve any work like appointment letter, what's that? What's that appointment letter? It's a part of the agreement. Okay. If anything in your organization, if they communicate to you, they will communicate through the paper. Paper need to become public legal procedure through paper. So it's that. It's a kind of agreement. Like that. Once auditor has been appointed, now auditor should work. What is meant by auditing? In simple term, it has to. I'm not asking about the technical thing. Technical thing, objective, I will come later. Okay. But I will come later. So what is simple term we can explain audit? Auditor should enhance the reliability of shareholders. Enhance the reliability of shareholders in relation to the financial statement. Okay. Picture is what I so you have to do certain works. Let's say for the time we will do certain works in relation to the financial statements. So now we are going to perform work. In order to perform that work, with whom we are going to work? Who has prepared the person who has prepared the financial statements? So with that person, you have to make some agreements. You have to agree certain words. Okay, but throughout the audit, he or she should support to you to perform your work properly. So then you have to agree with management, not shareholders. Shareholders appointed you. Okay, you will give report to shareholders. But if you want to want to give opinion to the shareholders, report to the shareholders, first of all, you should perform the work now. So, if you want to perform the work, first, management help or support. Okay. In relation to what you are going to perform, finance statement. So, who prepare finance statements? Management. So, they should submit relevant documents. Then you can proceed your work. So, agree the terms. You should first agree certain things with management. Okay. So here already I have given. You don't need to write again. I think last class I have given 4 topics: preconditions, engagement letter, recurring audits, and change the terms in engagement. Okay. So change the examples of changing terms. Okay. How we can accept. So those are things we have to discuss. So one thing, first of all, what is meant by agreeing with terms? As an auditor, we should agree with the management. That is enough. If you know that point, for the time being, that is sufficient. Okay. But then each and every word logic can take a lecture. If I write this point, agreeing with terms means with who management. Okay. What are the things we have to agree? We will learn. Already we have discussed short on we will learn. What are the things we have to discuss? For the time being, you should keep in your mind certain things I have to agree with the management. As an auditor, I have to agree with the management certain things. That is enough. So what are those things we will learn? Before, clear, everybody clear? So before these conditions or terms, these words, okay, whatever certain words or actions or certain conditions, let's say in short form terms and conditions, certain terms. Before you agree to into document, first of all, you should agree certain things in advance. Those are preconditions. So what are the topics we are going to discuss on the agreeing the terms I have already given. So you don't need to write. So whatever additionally I'm writing here, just include down. Okay. So preconditions. What is mean by precondition? Before put the engagement in written format, you should agree certain terms with management. Those are what? Precondition. Pre means in advance. Okay, pre-book okay, pre-conditions. So in advance we have to discuss. If you take normal example, right? Before putting the agreement, what are the things rent agreement? What are the things you will agree with your landlord? Rent amount. Rent amount is 50,000 a year. Agreement taking 80,000 grant. So that part you have to. So it's a given task. So advance how much we have to pay. That we agree like with the car parking is there now. If it is flat, which slot will be allocated for us. So that also we have to certain things we have to agree. Let's say 5 things we have to agree with the landlord. Likewise, we have also 4 things, mainly 2 things. Second thing will be subdivided into 3. So altogether, let's remember 4 things we have to agree. What are those 4 things? Applicable financial reporting framework. Okay. You should follow applicable financial reporting framework. As far as in Sri Lankan context, we have 4 financial reporting framework, means accounting standards. Full IFRS, SLFRS, full SLFRS, SLFRS for SMEs, SLFRS for small entities. Both one standards, accounting standards for non-profit organization. It's not like accounting standards. One accounting standard is allocated for non-profit organization. Instead, one of the practice type there, long words are coming. You don't need to remember those things. Just understand. In Sri Lankan context, we have 4 accounting standards. Okay, 4 types of accounting standards. So one of that accounting standard, based on one of that accounting standard, management should prepare the financial statements. So applicable financial reporting framework must be there. And management responsibilities. What are the management responsibilities? Preparation of financial statement. Yeah, I will write only short form. Detailed version I have given the view. So, concept preparation of financial statement. Okay. Preparation of financial statement is not auditor's responsibility. Okay. Our responsibility only, what is our objective? What is auditor's objective? Provide an opinion or express an opinion on financial statements. Whether financial statements are free from material statements. Highlight the word material. Okay. Today we will discuss that part. time permits we can discuss materially. So material misstatement. Okay. Material misstatement, not a mistake. Clear? Material misstatement. So one of the management responsibilities is preparation of financial statements. Okay. What is second one? Internal control in relation to internal controls in relation to financial statement preparation. And what's the third responsibility? Provide access. Provide access to obtain all informations in relation to what? Okay, in relation to audit. These both things must be agreed with the management before signing the agreement, before sending the engagement letter to the management or board of directors. Okay, management. So this part we have already discussed. Okay, last class. With this only we stop the class. So I wanted to recap these things quickly. So now we are going to discuss new thing. What's the second topic? And this engagement letter. So because of not space is not enough here. Because of that, I will raise these things and I will write third and fourth category. But you can link, you can write in your own, you can write in the notebook as a continuity points. Continuity points, okay? You can continue with the, you can continue your notes. I have given 4 points now, the same manner. Okay, so I will raise and I will write because of this space is not enough. So engagement letter. What is meant by engagement letter? So what is meant by engagement letter? So already we have agreed certain things. Okay. Already we have agreed certain things with the management. That's called the conditions. Before signing the agreement, before sending the agreement to the management, we have to agree certain points. Clear that point? Is it clear? So what is meant by engagement letter? So engagement letter means in simple terms, we can say agreement. It's an agreement between management and auditor. It's a simple agreement. That is, we call in general in audit terminology we call engagement letter, or we can say letter of engagement. Okay, letter R, engagement. In short form, we will say L4. Okay, I will raise this part. Make note of that. I will raise this part. So engagement letter in short form we can say LOE. This is sent by auditor to manage or management. We can say board of directors. Okay, this is prepared by auditor and it must be sent to board of directors for management. If written document. Okay, so it is document. So if anyone tells about the engagement letter, if anyone asks you about engagement letter, first of all you should tell this is a written document. This document must be sent by auditor to manage. Clear? Yeah. Now we are going to discuss what are the contexts. Okay, if you take a rectangular, let's say if you take a rectangular, certain contexts must be included. What are the things must be included in the rectangle? So if you take, I'm not talking about audit agreement, I'm just asking about the agreement. What are the information? If you get an agreement, any agreement, okay, to get an agreement, some information must be included. Okay, so what are the informations? You take an agreement, what are the information you will include? Here, how many periods? Normally they put 1 year or 2 years. Okay, rent advance. And on which date they should pay rent. If minor repairs will be undertaken, major repairs will be undertaken. So certain process of this at the time of take the premises, if any damages are there, those damages will be deducted from advance. So those things, those terms and conditions, this type of information should be included in the entire here. So likewise, here also, this is the agreement. Engagement letter means technical terminology is engagement letter, not but simply you can say it's an agreement between management and auditors. Okay. So what are the things we are going to include in the letter? We can let's take the two categories. One is mandatory conditions. Mandatory conditions and additional conditions or other conditions. Mandatory contains certain things must be included. Okay. Certain things must be included in the engagement letter. Letter of engagement or engagement letter. Certain things must be included. Those are mandatory conditions. Without those contents, if you prepare engagement letter, useless. Okay. No point to prepare the engagement letter. Certain things you can include, should be included. Okay. I can't say should be. If you want, you can. There's certain things. If you want, you can. Those will come under additional contents. But without these contents, if you prepare engagement letter, it's a useless engagement letter. So what are those mandatory things? Okay, what are those mandatory things? Objectivity, let's start with the reporting, financial reporting framework. Okay, financial reporting framework. Okay, financial report, financial reporting framework. What's the financial reporting framework the company is going to use? As I told, full ISO, full, sorry, it's a SC of non-profit organization. So this financial reporting framework must be included. Second part, objectivity means objective and scope of the clear financial reporting framework, objective and scope of thought. What's the objective of auditors? Our objective must be clearly communicated. Otherwise, one of them then okay, we are down for that. Clearly, we don't have responsible and we are not responsible. Oh, it's a responsibility. We are not objective. Final destination. Okay, what's our final destination? We will provide opinion on financial statement, whether those financial statements are free from material mistake or not. Some objective, and in order to achieve that objective, what are the scope? What's the scope? What's the scope? That part we have to use. That's a must. That is must. Okay. Auditor's responsibility. Auditor's responsibility. Responsibility means responsibility. Auditor's responsibility and management responsibility. You must remember these five. Only I have written only four. One more point also there. You must remember these five. Okay. What are the mandatory contents must be included in the engagement letter? auditor's objective and scope, financial reporting framework, auditor's responsibility, management responsibility, and last one, reference to the report. Reference to the report. What is mean reference to the report? Because I discuss these things. As I told, financial reporting framework must be included. Then only you will know based on why you should include financial reporting framework. And whether you are then you are. Remember, you can just tell you are financial reporting framework here, then you are okay. So, what is mean by financial reporting framework? You know, in Sri Lankan context, we have 4 types of financial reporting framework. Out of that, one your client will choose. Okay, fine. Then why we should indicate financial reporting framework? In other terms, yes, I can include these things in the queue, but I just asked because I don't know that aura and logical connection. We have discussed assurance elements. What are the elements? Already discussed. What are the elements in assurance? Assurance engagement. How you can remember advanced engagement elements? What is short form I have given? Assurance. Take a people. Then monoline cover both assurance engagement elements can cover both. I have given a short form. What's the short form? Okay, what is mean by what is P stand? P stand for what are you doing? If anyone asks you, tell me about the assurance engagement element. So, that's the order. Okay, I have given the order. Fine, but in bottom of that queue, that section, I have given small letters. 5 letters. Very easy. That letter is first. From that, you can remember elements of assurance. Elements of assurance engagement. So, the one C criteria. E evidence. So, R report. E evidence is T. It's right. Then again, if you take a tripod relationship, first day, it will not water game on here. So, one of the elements is criteria. What is okay? So, man, okay, logic. Financial reporting framework we are giving here. Okay, just I will explain. Financial reporting framework we are giving. Why we are saying financial reporting framework is a mandatory thing? We can include that point under financial reporting framework. Why we are saying this is the base. What is the objective? Our objective towards financial statements. Okay, as an auditor, our objective in relation to financial statement only. Out of that, also material misstatement, not all misstatements. Our responsibility, there are 2 words: financial statements, material misstatement. Make a recommend to a monolithic auditors are responsibility of monolithic auditors are monolithic point out. Those are not our responsibility. We can discuss our discussion, we can understand. One of the fraud company, next topic is fraud. One of the fraud unnoticed the benefit. Over the year for one to see the conversation is sucking. They see the name including management. Thousands of accounts. That's very good. Finance. Again, accounts prepare outcome account run. One make particular image like you were the first thing. Apicula something to make what it turn fraud again. Outcome person must take a person over the account and tongue. cash collector cover fraud tap unnoticed value. Just for a proposal and another fee. Everyone listening? In 3 weeks ago, and so those are not our responsibility. Our responsibility only related to 2 things: finance statements, and in that finance statements also material statement. Rupees here, rupees here, funds here, for the total they are responsibilities. And come later at that material point. But you should keep in your mind, we have only 2 things we have to keep as an auditor. One is finance statement, another is material statement. Okay, fine. So our work is related to finance statement. Okay. If you want to prepare a finance statement, you should have a criteria. One of the basic one of the basic. Get you materials. One of the basic. So our responsibility is related to finance statement. To prepare that financial statement, that management should have a criteria. So that criteria is an important thing. That's why we included here. Okay. And clearly we have to tell what is audit scope and objective. What is the objective? That's what we have to clearly complete. Otherwise, they will think lot of things. Audit has a magic pen and clearly we have to mention our responsibility. These are the responsibility. These are our responsibility. Okay. What is our responsibility? We will do audit and we will provide the opinion. Our responsibility is only related to provide an opinion, not preparation of financial statements. And under management responsibility, clearly we should include whatever we have discussed under preconditions. What are the responsibilities? They have to prepare the financial statements. Okay. They are the responsible person to internal controls. They are the responsible person for internal controls in relation to the preparation of financial statements, and they have to give all access to us in relation to the audit. And apart from that, they are responsible for the audit, going concern. So those things also some more responsibilities also we have to include. So compulsory we have to include that what we have discussed under the conditions. Like if I discuss the bank. Discuss okay, take a network bank. Already we have discussed. These are your responsibilities. The precondition, applicable financial reporting framework we discussed. Second main concept, management responsibilities. Under that only 3 points are there. Preparation of financial statements, internal controls in relation to the financial statement is responsible with the management, and all the access must be given to the auditors in relation to the audit. Okay, no any restriction should be there. Okay, so those things must be included under management responsibility. Last point, reference to the report. What is meant by reference to the report? It's like this. Audit report are there on file. A audit report reference there, which means this is audit report also. We will discuss that audit report part as a last point in our last class. So, make a audit report reference cannot be a engagement letter. Make a objective. These are the objectives. This is our scope. Okay. This is our objective. This is our scope. Okay. That's the part. Okay. Why we have included these things? That's logic. As I explained earlier, that's logic. First of all, we are explaining our objective, and our scope also we are explaining. This is our objective, this is our scope, and in order to achieve this objective, these are our responsibilities. Okay, after fulfilling our responsibilities, now we will give our report according to auditing standard 705. That reference must be given. Clear? Logic of then clear now. First of all, this is our objective. We are giving. They are mentioning in the agreement. This is our scope. And in order to achieve this objective, these are the responsibilities we have to undertake. Okay? After performing our responsibilities, based on this reference, auditing standard, report format and theory. Reporting format again. Report back. So complete package explain. Okay? From objective to reporting, we explain through the engagement letter. Clear? objective ඉඳලා අපි responsibility ඉඳලා අපි scope ඔක්කොම explain කරලා මේ format එකෙන් තමයි report එකක් දෙන්නේ කියලා අපි explain කරනවා. That's why these things must be included. Compulsory matters. Clear? So just note it down. Just note it down and if we know, I will move on to the next topic. Questions එක අපි ඉවර කරේ මොන perspective එකකට කරලාද put නෑනේ කියනවානේ. Last four questions we have to do in this first few block. Okay, very good. So you can see here agree the terms of engagement. The terms of engagement shall be agreed with the management and recorded with the audit engagement letter. Clear? Already discussed. So preconditions, what are the preconditions must be included? So what are the preconditions must be agreed with the management? First of all, the financial reporting framework is acceptable. Obtain management agreement that acknowledges and understands its responsibility for the following: for management responsibilities, for other management responsibilities, preparing the financial statements in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework, internal control that is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements, internal material statement, and when used in a simple manner, internal controls in relation to the financial statement preparation. Okay. Third one, providing the auditor with access to all information. Management should give access to auditor to obtain all the information in relation to the audit. Okay. So these are the things must be agreed as a preconditions. Here already we discussed. Any doubt on this area? Okay. This must be formally documented in the engagement letter. What is meant by formal? Formal means in writing. Okay. So formal means in writing you have to formal means in writing you have to agree these things. Okay. So an audit engagement must be declined or discontinued if management or those charged with governance impose limitation of scope for it. So here, one thing I want to mention, I don't remember the last class I have explained this one. Management or those charged with governance. Who is those charged with governance? Board of directors. In simple term, you can remember board of directors are those charged with governance. Those charged with governance. Govern karana thousand. Charge those charged with governance. Okay. Management of those charged with governance impose a limitation on the scope of audit. If they put any restriction, okay, management freely exercise the known auditors not auditor. If they put any limitation, then auditor should not undertake that audit. Or auditor should withdraw that engagement. He should not carry out the work. The preconditions are not present. An audit engagement must be declined or discontinued. What are the two situations? If any management imposes any restriction, we have to withdraw. Okay. And second one, the preconditions are not present. Example, the financial reporting framework does not provide suitable criteria. Okay. That's the thing. You have to understand. What are the two situations auditor can withdraw or decline his work? Audit engagement item, shareholders, management, auditor. This diagram I have already given. Engagement between management and auditor. Two types, A and B, mandatory fees and optional fees or additional fees. We can say additional fees. The audit engagement shall include the following. Okay, shall include, which means mandatory. Objective and scope, auditor's responsibility, management responsibility, applicable financial reporting framework for preparation of financial statement, and reference to the expected form and content of any resource. Reference to the resource. Okay, reference to the clear. This must be included as a mandatory concept. Now, additional matters. Here I have included 10 additional matters. If you remember, only 5 things that is not. Okay, so you can't do this. Everything I have given 10. And no, yeah, somewhere around 10 I have given. So if you remember only 5, that's more than. So these additional sections you may include, you may not. No option. One of that is audit fee. Okay, the audit fee what are these? Planning work related to the audit. Okay, planning work. Like a plan audit. Option. If you want, you can mention audit fee, billings, audit billings. The planning activities in relation to audit. Timeline for the audit. Okay, timeline for the audit. So likewise, if you want certain things, you can add to the level of engagement. What are those things? The fact that due to inner limitation of audit, there are inner limitations. Why we can't give absolute assurance? We have discussed now that there are two types of assurance. Reasonable and limited assurance. Absolute assurance we can't give. We can't give 100% correct. We can't give 100% assurance. Which means absolute assurance we can't give. Why we can't give absolute assurance? Because of inner limitations. What are the inner limitations? We will do on the sample basis. Sample basis 100% we are checking only about material amounts. It means significant amounts. Okay, so likewise, inner limitations are there. Because of that, we can't provide absolute assurance. Arrangements regarding planning and performance, including the audit team compositions. Who are the audit team? Names. Who is the partner? Who is the manager? Audit senior counsel? Okay. Planning activities. What are the planning you are going to do? The audit. If you want, you can give. Otherwise, you can give. Expectation that management will provide written representation. Agreement of management to provide draft financial statements and other information. Fees and billings. Okay. Request management to acknowledge receipt of letter of engagement agreed terms outwardly. Involvement of other auditors and experts. If anyone, if you have strategy, then if you follow external evaluation method, the expert will involve. If you do, if your client business is gem business, then gem diamonds, gem business gem business whether normal, like even me, whether I can value the gem valuation, gem value. I can't value. In order to value the gem amounts, there's a special person. Gem authority, so that expert, we are getting that expert help, we are getting to value the gem amount, gem valuation, closing balance. So if we are going to add, if we are expecting to get those people help, then those can be included. So optional, okay, optional point on must be any restriction for auditor's salary, any obligation to provide audit working papers to other parties. If any restrictions to share the audit working paper, that must be included in the engagement. Okay, then audit working paper is not share in the bank. Because working paper still, so that part also you should include. Clear? So here out of this thing, if you remember 5 things, that is enough. You can remember this composition of audit team, audit planning, activities and performance, billings, audit fee. Okay. What else? If any expert involvement is there, that also you can include. Okay, working papers decision. You can't share the working papers to others. That's decision. So like this, if you remember 5 things, that is enough. Okay. Next topic. Next topic. And I think the terms recurring audit. You can continue. I already given the points for that subsection. So recurring audits. What is meant by recurring audits? Up to now, we discussed certain preconditions we have to agree with the management, certain preconditions and other mandatory concepts must be agreed with the management through letter of engagement in written form. So you know what are the topics or what are the contents must be agreed with the management. Okay, what are the contents for compulsory contents and additional contents you know. Clearly, you know what are the concerns, what are the contents must be communicated with them, and we should have. Now, what is meant by recurring one? So last year, my question, listen to me. Last year, you have central engagement there. Let's say ABC private sector company. Your audit client. You are running an audit firm, or you are working in audit firm. So last year you sent an engagement letter. Last year was the first year audit sales you have provided to them. So definitely you have to send the engagement letter as a first client. Now you have last year you trained and all these mandatory informations and technical information will import and send the engagement file. You sign and give it in your file house. My question: do you need to send engagement letter again? That's what recurring audits. Last year was first year audit. Now second year audit. Do you need to send engagement letter to your client? Second year. That's my question. Yes or no? Yes, negative. No, negative. They may not answer. Yes or no? Yes or no? Answer. So you in general situation you don't need to say. Okay. But if you notice certain things, you have to say. Okay. If you notice, if anything happens, any circumstance, certain circumstances over there, if you come across those circumstances, then you have to say new engagement. Otherwise, no need. Okay. Otherwise, no need to say engagement letter to engagement letter for recurring audits. Unless any changes you notice. What are those things? What are those circumstances? Okay. What are those circumstances? Change in management. Last year, board of secretary almost correct. Then management change got na, sub secretary sign notes. Okay. Yeah, what are the changes? So here you can say change in management. In bracket, quite significant change. Okay. Change in senior management, like change in management. Change in management. If between board of directors, in bracket, if you can write board of directors. Bracket write board of directors. Then given the finance manager change on that. Finance manager, marketing manager change on that. LOA on that. It is senior management or board of directors. A significant change in shareholders. Changing financial reporting framework. Okay, changing financial reporting framework. What is meant by that? Changing financial reporting framework here. Last year, that company follows. For last year, that company followed. It's a for servicing. Okay, this year they wanted to move to full IFRS. Then you have to change the letter of engagement. But in the letter of engagement, you have mentioned the mandatory content applicable financial reporting framework. Now that framework has been changed. Then you have to reissue the engagement letter. Incorporate those changes. Clear? Financial reporting framework because you have included that. We have included financial reporting framework. Now it has been changed. So we have to change the. We have to issue engagement after incorporating the changes. Changes. Changes in nature of business operation. So here also we can say significant change. Significant change. And one more point also I can say here. Again, right, only 5 points are beyond these ones also. We have certain things we will discuss through a few. Misunderstandings in LOE terms. Okay. Any misunderstandings? Any gray areas are there in the letter of engagement? Then you have to change and you have to say. So these are the things. Among these things, this is also reason for sending new engagement letter for recurring audits. Now we will discuss the new recurring audits. On recurring audits, the auditor shall assess whether the terms of engagement need to be revised. Okay, need to be revised. and whether there's a need to remind the entity of existing terms. In these situations only, whether need to be revised or need to remind the entity of the existing terms. Okay. Then terms setting මොනවද රිවර්ස් කරන්න ඕනේද? දැන් ඒක කොහොමද terms එක රිවර්ස් කරන්නේ? දැන් මොනවද misunderstanding වෙනවා නම් gray area එකක් වෙනවා නම් terms එක රිවර්ස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. Better need to be revise the terms or need to remind the terms to the entity. What are the things will come under that? Remind the entity. Already තියෙනවා currents එක මාරුනේ management change වෙලා තියෙනවා. So the same terms and conditions must be reminded to new management. Okay. The following factors may indicate that it would be appropriate to revise the terms of engagement or remind the entity of the existing terms. In simple manner, you can understand. Regarding audits, you don't need to send the engagement letter every year, but if any circumstances happen, you have to change the same. What are those circumstances? Something I have given. Apart from that, you have certificates. Any indication that entity misunderstands the objectives for the entity misunderstand the terms and conditions. Okay. Any revise of special terms of the engagement. If you want to add any revise or special terms in the engagement, then you have to resend the engagement letter. The recent change of senior management. Significant change in ownership. Or shareholders. Okay. A significant change in nature of size of business entity. Change in legal requirement. Change in financial reporting paper. Change in other reporting paper. Okay. I have given 5. If you remember those 5, it's not. If you want, you can take other points also from that. Okay. Here, I think altogether some of the points are there. If any misunderstandings are there, misunderstanding situation of the terms and condition is there, you have to send it again. If you want to put any special terms, if you want to add special terms to the LOD, then you can add that, you can resend. Okay. Change in management, significant change in senior management, significant change in ownership, changes in financial reporting framework, significant change in nature of operation or size of operation, then you have to say new engagement letter to existing plan. Clear? If you encounter one of these circumstances, then you have to send new engagement letter to existing plan. Clear? So altogether 3 topics we have discussed and they are agreeing the terms. The conditions, engagement letter, and third one recurring costs. Now we will move on to 4th topic. And I have given here fraction letters because a lot of things are there. So if you remember those things, that I have to get it as well now. Okay. You can have this. It's like this. If contains it's like it's 4 of 5 points, I can limit, I can write here. But additional things, if you want, I can write here. Otherwise, you can pick it from UPS. Okay. Additional context. Okay, additional context specifically I have not written here, like mandatory context, because you have to take the short note, you can Right there before the tube. Like this, you can write a key. Otherwise, it becomes continuity will be missing. There are branches now in the short notes. I have given the branches. I have given the terms. And I have given the terms. First one is precondition. I have given the short note. Here I am giving only the short notes. Okay. The extended version is going to be the tube. Okay. So when it comes to short note, in the precondition, I have given short notes. Engagement letter, mandatory contents I have given. Additional contents also there. Mandatory contents I have written here, but additional contents I have not written here. Because 10 points are there. So if you get confused, just put additional information, additional contents, and write the equal to before the Q. You can mention this one also. Then it will be appropriate. This number also you can refer. Section 3.2. Yeah, section 3.2b. Likewise, you just put a reference in your note. Then you can directly link to your cube note. Because yeah, it's like this. If lot of points are there, I can treat like this in 2 ways. Let's say 15 points, 10 points are there. I can write 4 or 5 points. Sorry, 4 or 5 points in point 4. Otherwise, I will give directly. I will discuss to the tube. In the short note, you just mention refer the tube with the number 3.2b. So additional contents in the tube you can mention. Good thing you have asked. So some people may get confused. No? So exam exam you take very so additional contents because since we have 10 points, if I write 3 or 4 points, then you will get confused. Only those 3 or 4 points only you should remember. So out of that 10, you can remember anything. Okay. So in the short note, you just mention refer 3.2b points. Okay. Regarding okay. Fourth point, fourth section, acceptance of acceptance of change in terms. What is meant by acceptance of change in terms? Simple. Acceptance change in terms means if any changes confine management in the engagement letter or in the engagement. Okay. Listen to me carefully. If management does any changes in the letter of engagement, it's called change in terms. We are not going to change the change terms now. Api auditor stage का है ना over acceptance के लगा के नहीं कौन है अभी चलिए ना if management changes any terms in the LOI whether that change can be accepted by us or not. Clear? Topic is not there. Clear है मेरा? Management is going to change something, whether that change will be accepted by us or not. Whether we can change, we can accept that change or not. Clear? There are three. Change in circumstances. Misunderstanding. Scope limitation. Like restriction. Okay. Change in circumstances, misunderstanding, restriction on the scope. What is meant by restriction on the scope? A vertical current, no, it's like vertical current, no restriction current. Okay. The idea is restriction scope for the time restriction on the scope. There are three situations. There are three situations. There are three situations. Changes can be occurred. Okay. Whether out of these three situations, whether if any one of these three situations happen, whether auditor can accept this changes or not. That's the question mark. Clear? There will be a change that changes we can classify out of these three. One of out of these three. Okay. Very clear. That's not very clear. Changes can be out of one of these three situations. Okay. Set of changes for misunderstanding or restriction on the scope. If any changes taking place because of one of these three, as auditor, are we going to accept or not with the question mark? Here, these two. Here, I will come here the example. These two, if these two changes, if reasonably justifiable, if these two changes, not third one, okay, if these two changes are reasonably justifiable, then you can accept. Okay. Clear? What is meant by reasonable justifiable? Please explain it. If not, if you are unable to reasonably justify, you should not accept. Clear? What is meant by reasonably justified? What is meant by reasonably justified? Okay, I will ask a question. Now you have put an agreement with the management in order to perform audit. Okay? Clear? Now we are performing the audit procedures and you identify that's the shortage of documents. Okay. appropriate, sufficient audit evidences are not available. Inventory is not available, inventory not available, plan not available, creditors not available. So because of that, you have identified this. So then what will happen? You can't give clean opinion. Good opinion you can't give no. So the handling analysis, good opinion, bad opinion. After discussing audit report, you can't use these words. You have to use the correct term of this. So since you have come across this problem, you want the question to provide signal. So this practice not by management also knows this thing. Now, one of the because of this inadequate documents, you will provide, you can't provide an opinion, then you will give the modified opinion, bad opinion you will give. Okay. Management also knows these things. So if you give a bad opinion, what will happen to them? It's not a good for invoice. Now they are saying, no, we will change this audit engagement to review engagement. So review less process on perform. Okay, now we won't need audit. We need audit review. That's the situation. This change they have suggested to you. Are you going to accept or not? Accept or not? Clearly, because of shortage of documents, now they are saying, no, we don't need to do the audit. Management are not auditors. These changes are coming from management, not auditors. Now they are saying, no, we don't need to do the audit. Earlier, we have hoped that everyone will take to do the audit. Now they are saying, because of these document issues, they are saying, no, we don't need to do the audit. We will turn into review. Because the database, they are going to provide negative assurance. No, they didn't want to discuss. Next process only you have to perform. You will have to do it. All of us, I will going to example. Yes. Or no? Because because of inadequacy of documents, they are saying you have to change the scope. Okay, that is answer. Okay, so that change cannot be justified. They can ban. Yeah, so you should not accept. You should. You should like accepting. That's not clear. You can't justify. How you can justify? Because of inadequacy document, they have suggested to change the scope from audit to review. So if you do that review, then you also support that. But you can't. They don't support them. You can't do like that. So that change cannot be accepted. Sorry, justified, but you should not accept. Already you put agreement. In the engagement letter, you mentioned we are starting the audit from May 1st. The time that you can give as additional section, as an additional option, additional content, you can give the timeline. We are starting the audit from May 1st and we are going to finish the audit May 31st. It's the deadline. We are included in the engagement letter. Now, management asks you, no, we need the audit report by 22. Let's say 27, or about 5 days. 27, we need, because of certain reason, we need to submit to our directors board and for decision meetings on basis. We need audit report by 27. Earlier we agreed 31st meeting. Now we need 27. Okay. Whether do you change that? Whether you will accept that change or not? Accept except that the bad data if that change can be justified, then you can accept. If cannot, you should not accept. How you can justify? Let's say 31st, 27, only 3 days, only 4 days. You know, let's say they have communicated with you by 20. සියල්ල ඕනේ කියලා එක්සයිට් නැහැ. ප්‍රැක්ටිකලි වෙනවා නම් දෙන්න තාස්. එහෙම අවිසාව කියන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. අතිවිදේම මම කියනවා. සියල්ල ඕන at least 1 week කරේ කියනවා. දැන් ඒ part එක අපි බලනවා. In that one you will see whether we can finish the audit by 26th or 26th. Earlier we agreed 31st, but if we completed substantial amount of work every year, and only small areas are there, we can judge our work. No, we can estimate yes, 85% of works can be completed, and 50%. That part also we can show in 2 or 3 years. Then that's the investigation and the analysis. So if we are able to complete by 26th, then we can accept. Okay, I can give you. Then these are justifiable. Then we can accept that change. Clear? If not, if we what we can argue, if we let's say we get if we have some percentage, it's really another 8 days or 9 days because already we agreed 30%. No, so according to that we have done the work and we have doing the work according to that plan. So you know the person to problem with this one. We need additional 2 days. Then we should not ask. Okay. So the point is, accept the enemy. If you can justify reasonably, then you can accept. Otherwise, you should not. Clear? Make a warm up. You should not accept. You must not accept. Okay? Restriction is so limited. Restriction on the garage doesn't work. Clear? The change in the terms of audit engagement prior to completion may result from changes in circumstances entering the need for services, the misunderstanding, the restriction on the scope. These are the 3 things. The auditor shall not, carefully, the auditor shall not agree to change in the terms of audit engagement where there is no reasonable justification. Shall not reasonable justification for doing so. Make part of make on for reference on the agreement. In the case of A and B, okay, in the case of A and B, they can give it A and B literal reasonably justify accept. If you can't reasonably justify, then you should not accept. Okay, clear? The auditor shall not agree A and B. Okay, shall not agree A and B if unable to reasonably justify. These might be acceptable reasons. In the case of A and B above, these might be acceptable reasons for requesting a change in the engagement. Okay, if you can reasonably justify, you can accept. If you can't reasonably justify, you cannot accept. Okay, that is only for A and B. Only this one is this. This is A. This is B. C. Okay. You can get that. However, the change may not be considered reasonable if it seems to relate to information that is incorrect, incomplete, or otherwise unsatisfactory. Here, I have explained only about A and B. If reasonably justifiable, you can accept. If reasonable, if you can't reasonably justifiable, then you should not accept. Clear? C, you cannot accept. You cannot accept. Restriction, body, restriction have that on acceptable one. Huh? Acceptable one. Why you have restriction have that on acceptable one? What they call? They have restriction on the another and the here to own. That's an excessive given here. A and B, not B. C, you cannot accept. A and B is not justifiable. You can accept. If not, you should not accept. Clear? Okay, we will have a short meeting, short break, 10 minutes, and after that we will move on to next topic. So presentation, we have to schedule a time, no? Date and time. I will let you know what the calls I can know. Anyway, we can take during the class time 1 day. How many teams? Very good. Bisa nih, bapak kan ada kelas soal apa ini? Video ini, ada yang bisa ini. Video ini bisa, udah ini kan bisa kelas. Karena bagian dia ada, mulai dia. Dia kelas. Bukan saya tahu. Okay, we will have a next thing and we will discuss this topic. The classic example online tonight. Right in the Pala the man, the extra Pana video mother. After man. Next class, for example, go the idea. Bala opens. Ada katanya nak kecil, paper ni orang ambil lagi. Ada, terus kita nak tulis ini. Nak mata kami ini apa ini? Pak ni, okay. Dan baru paper ni katanya nak kecil. Baru kita ni, ready ko tu isap kami jom buat. Batting and on the how many then within the Ramasingam Madena, there are 5. All the is screenshotted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah. Online in the country, but also the number 15 more than 15 in the back. Oh my God. Anyways, mark on the back. Yeah. You got good and mark on one game. Number 15 better. Better than cutting paper clear. Wow, you did nothing more than it sounds like. ये पास में पहले की बातें किया है 16 ऑनलाइन है कि मेरा 16 एक अच्छे के नमस्ते Okay, so shall we start? Okay, we'll continue. So next topic. Okay. Next topic. Now step one is forward. Step one is auditor's appointment and agreeing the terms. Auditor's appointment and agreeing the terms. That is completed. So now we are going to discuss about next topic, but not audit planning. Okay. Confused then you have to listen to me. The step is over. We have completed. Now we are going to discuss the second topic. But that second topic is not audit planning. Ideally audit planning. But if you want to understand audit planning properly, certain topics, especially certain topics, you should understand. Okay, certain topics you should understand before discussing the audit planning. So, read not further. Okay, why we should learn those topics before I will explain later. This is also part of audit planning. Okay, don't get confused. Part of the audit planning. After completing the step one, second step is audit processes, audit planning and discussion. Clear? So under audit planning and discussion, certain topics we are going to discuss. Okay, before discussing those subtopics, we need to discuss certain topics before. Okay, in advance. Fraud, responsibility, auditors' responsibilities in relation to fraud, auditors' responsibilities in relation to laws and regulations, and most important topic, material. Okay, so material calculation also part of the audit plan. You don't get confused. Confused now, I'm not then before again I will tell before discussing the audit plan chapter in detail, certain chapters we must know. Those chapters are fraud, non-compliance of laws and regulations, and audit material. Why we should learn these topics before audit planning? Because these topics are also part of the audit planning. Okay, then audit planning is directly. That's what I want to understand the plan. In order to understand those concepts, audit planning concepts, first of all, you should understand these three concepts. Okay, so I will this concept. I will these three concept to audit plans we discuss the audit plan. Okay. So next concept we are going to discuss fraud. Okay. Fraud. Okay. Now we connect this one to our process. Already, whatever functionality is discussing, there must be a logic. Okay, logic you should understand. We are now going to discuss fraud. Why we discuss engagement data? We have been avoided. It says we are already we have been avoided that solver. How we should make we should do that with the management to do the audit process. We have done that and everybody has now vertical pattern. Vertical pattern. So now we have to start work. Before starting work, we have to plan properly. Before doing the procedures, we have to plan properly what are the procedures we are going to perform. Yeah. So here, in the planning activity, statements are being statements will be happen. What is the objective? As an auditor, what is the objective? What is the objective? What is the objective? Express an opinion on finance statements. Finance statements are free from material statements. Now we are going to discuss about which one. Fraud. So what's the connection between fraud and mistakes? So our objective is mistake, finding a material mistake. Okay, finding a material mistake. What about material for the time? Okay, let's take a further statement. So our objective is finding a mistake, material statement, and why? Yeah, that is the objective. Then why we should learn fraud? What's the connection between fraud and mistakes? Yeah, okay, fine. What's the connection between fraud and mistakes? Why we should learn fraud? Okay, our objective is finding a mistake. Fine. Mistake. Then that is our objective. Then why we should learn fraud? What's the connection between fraud and making mistake? Each and every topic is important. Those are link. Those have link. Each and every topic have link. Mistake. Why mistake was happen? Why mistake was happening? Mistake was someone. Mistake was getting out. Google out mistake was someone. Mistake was not house. You get that? Understand that you can get that totally. What is it? Okay. That I want to get helpful. But we by mistake. Google and editing now. Mistake was saying mistake was so high that they said it. This even mistake normal English word. You know the meaning of statement or the same mistake. But after the material mistake according to what it was on the I think mistake what are the words? Okay. Incorrect information. This is information. Okay, but incorrect information. Yes, sir. You have to prepare financial statements. Okay, you have to prepare the financial statements. Statement of financial position, income statement, equity, cash flow, and of now I have found mistakes. I have found mistakes in that financial statements. You have to prepare, but I have found certain mistakes. Okay, clear? This concept is clear. We have to prepare the financial statements. I have found certain mistakes in the financial statements. Okay, why those mistakes were taking place? by those mistakes were taken place. Those mistakes were segments. Okay. By one is errors. Without any intention, by mistake, you have done those mistakes. Okay. If I stipulate back on the water without your knowledge. Human being, human nature, so your knowledge. Without any intention. You have made some mistakes because of misstatements have been taking place. That's one, that's called errors. Second one called intentionally you did something. That is we called fraud. But also this it also is a guru. Because of these two situations only, misstatements are taking place. Clear? Now, our objective is with the statements of pre-form and statement. Okay. Now, why these statements are happening? Because of these two. Okay. This is we are going to discuss in further. This lecture and discuss the intentional network. क्या लगता है तो मैं आगे डिस्कस करना है एक टॉपिक रखना है डिस्कस करना we know to discuss this errors mistake करेंगे without any intention because of human nature you give certain things क्या mistakes but this is important when it comes to mistake if fraud is important when it comes to mistake fraud is the one of the reasons for mistakes. If any misstatement, this one also most important thing, keep in your mind. If any misstatements happen because of the fraud, that impact is higher than errors. The impact is higher than the errors impact. Fraud misstatement impact is higher than errors. Mistaken without your knowledge, if you make any mistakes, then you will go. Just if you are going to calculate 10 plus 1, mistakenly you may put 40. Okay. But if you want to make a fraud, then intentionally you will put 25 or something. How the learning in an mistake 10 plus 5 mistakenly you wrote 16. That is without your knowledge, you careless mistake. If you want to overstate your experience, 10 plus instead of 5, you will add another 5 zeros. The impact is 50. 45. It's a normal example. You can connect everywhere this one, but to understand why I have given this one. This example. So the impact without the intention you made mistake, 1 rupee is not fraud. With intention you made mistake, not mistake. You made you got the fraud, 45 rupees impact is there. So misstatement, if the particular misstatement is happened because of fraud, then the impact is greater than the misstatement because of errors. So the impact of misstatement because of the errors will be higher. The fraud is higher than the errors impact. Okay, that's why we are focusing fraud. Yeah. So, why we are running fraud? Objective misstatement. The reason so many misstatements fraud. Because of that, we have to learn fraud. Yeah. So what is mean by fraud? What is mean by fraud? What is mean by fraud? Intentionally, if you do any wrong thing, that is wrong. Intentional act. Fraud is a intentionally. Now, you do something. Product so intentional wrong with the that is all factors. Right. Then okay. Now, what is the by all intentional wrong with the intention is to do any wrong things that is wrong. Yeah. I want fraud. Why you involve the fraud? Awesome. Why you normally involve the frauds? Parents more understand the reason. Okay, it is an accuracy money. Okay. Again, to see the exam. No, they the making of an Poro the Maki of the Salyam, only when we will benefit at dinner. The Kaman and dinner, the Kaman is up. Okay, likewise, what are the things push you to involve in the frauds? Those things called factors. Okay, one pressure, 80% and so on pressure. If I get low income, if you are not you, if you are low income, then their needs are high. Right? So, pressure. Secondly, insert. You do something, you will get benefit. Insert your camera. And also, for example, 10 plus 5, you put 16 for mistakes. That you can consider as a mistake. 10 plus 5, you add 1, 0, 50, followed by rupees. Incentive. There you are 45 here and that. Why you are put 45 there? You have taken 45, so that you put there 45. So, that is the third one opportunity. If you go, let's say one person has come in the organization and he has studied that organization internal control and he has found already discussed internal controls. He has found internal there are no effective internal controls. We can say internal controls, no internal controls. There are no any effective internal controls. If you do like this, no one will capture. If you know, if that person knows about this, that opportunity, that issue, then he may use that. No more. Okay. He has joined an organization and he has found there are no any in this payment process, there is no any effective internal control. Just found that. Now he may use that loophole, that is called opportunity. So there are three factors push any person to evolve the fraud. One is incentive, pressure, opportunity. Okay. Why issue? Why incentive pressure? opportunity. Pointers responsibility. Let to here the topic is fraud. Don't misunderstand. The topic is fraud. I told, but here always we are going to discuss about pointers responsibility. Okay. Here always we are going to focus about pointers responsibility. What are the responsibility in relation to the particular topic? Okay. In order to discuss that point, first of all, we should know about the concept. So how fraud is happening? What are the reasons? The root cause of whole products. So those things you have to understand. So we through that we will have with our responsibility. Our responsibility, our responsibility includes the our that is representing audience. Okay. So fraud is an intentional act by one or more individuals, not manager, management. Those are the governments, employees, or the governments. Any person involved, any intentional wrongdoing thing, that's fraud. Okay. Fraud factors. Big factors. Incentive, pressure, incentive. Employee fees, they are underpaid. Okay, they are underpaid. Changes in behavior or lifestyle. So if they involve, they are underpaid. If they involve any fraudulent activity, they think it will give more incentive to us, more benefits to us. So that is what incentive. Pressure. An employee is purely paid and struggling financially, profit related bonus. Profit related bonus. Pressure. So, pressure about the theory, what are the emphasis? Okay. Let's say some bonuses are paid based on performance, based on profit. Let's say company CEO will get bonus based on the net profit of the company. Then what we do? We have what we do based on the performance, net profit, profit after tax, net profit after tax. Let's say net profit before tax. Okay. He will get bonus based on particular year net profit before tax. He will get 2% of that. Okay. What are the things he will do? He will reduce the expenses, capital nature expenses, sorry, revenue nature of expenses, he will put on the capital nature category. He can increase the revenue, unwanted other income he may increase, and whatever possible ways to increase the net profit, he will do. He may do. Okay. I can't say he will do. Okay. Right. If he shows actual performance, then the net profit will end up with 1 million. Then after doing these things, net profit will end up with 1.5 million. Right? 500,000 into 2%. That's the 10% you will get. So pressure. Okay, so pressure targets are there, you can get more things. Opportunity. Segregation of duties is inevitable. As I know, individual weaknesses are there. Employees may use that opportunity. Okay. Types of fraud. Types. Okay. There are two types. Fraudulent financial reporting, frauds, and misappropriation of fraudulent financial reporting is a of assets. With a simple, these are simple things. Fraudulent financial report. What is mean by fraudulent financial report? There is an what is mean by fraudulent financial report? There are two types of fraud. One is fraudulent financial reporting frauds, and second one is mixed appropriation of assets. What is mean by fraudulent financial report? Manipulate the accounts. Okay. Fraudulent financial reporting means certain fraudulent activities involved in relation to the financial reporting, financial statements. Okay, financial reporting of the company. As I given the example shortly, short while ago, CFO involved fraudulent activities. Increase the expenses, reduce the expenses, increase the revenue, okay. Capital revenue rich expenses. He will transfer the capital nature category. So likewise, if he manipulates the accounts, that is fraudulent financial reporting category. Okay, that will come under fraudulent financial reporting. So any fraudulent activities involved in relation to the financial reporting, those type of activities are fraudulent financial reporting type of frauds. Manipulating the accounts, if you avoid anything, that is also fraudulent. Without recording in the financial statements, if you intentionally make action, those things will come under financial reporting frauds. Clearly, if any frauds are related to financial reporting, those things will come under financial reporting fraudulent functions, manipulated accounts. Fraudulent financial reporting involves intentional misstatements, including omissions of amounts or disclosures in financial statements. Okay. To deceive financial statement users. This may include manipulation, falsification, false reports, include transaction plan, duplicate payments. That's a falsification. Alteration of accounting records. Presentation of transaction. Intentional certification of accounting business. Example was related problem to attract investors and lenders. Okay, was related topic to attract investors and lenders. Example of finance. Okay, if you want this, because that's the taking that off. Omission. Application of if you want to attract new investors, then you have to show more profit. In order to show more profit, by doing these activities, you can show more profit. Then if you ignore that type of activity, then it will come under private financial reporting. Okay, clear? Is it clear for private financial reporting? Second one, with appropriation, that you know that very well. Stealing of assets. Stealing of assets of the company. Cash, inventory, fee, for industrial property. Software or industrial property. Okay. Misappropriation of assets mean simple thing. In other terms, we can say theft of assets. Theft of company's assets. It can be cash, it can be inventory, it can be property, plant, and tangible assets. Okay. Laptop, for example, tangible assets. Example, I can say stealing cash, stealing inventories. Stealing cash or stealing inventories of company. Clear? This is takeover misappropriation of assets means theft of company assets. Okay. So fraud can be classified under two types, two categories: prodigal financial reporting and misappropriation of assets. Misappropriation of assets involves the theft of entities' assets and often perpetrated by frauds. This is the theft of entities' assets. For example, cash or inventory. Other examples also include stealing receipts, stealing physical assets, causing an entity to pay for goods not received. Goods have been not received, but you have created duplicate suppliers. Okay, also we have discussed now. Without physical supplier, company employees can improve, they can create duplicate supplier, they can push payment requirements. They can create duplicate requests, duplicate payment process. Using assets for personal use. Not only stealing, if you use without proper approval, if you use company assets for your personal use, also fraud. Okay. So these are the things, misappropriation of assets. Now we will come to main point. Right. Okay. Auditors responsible. Auditor responsibilities related to fraud. This is important. Before that, I also will okay. I will write one more thing also. Before we discuss auditor's responsibility, I will quickly go through the management responsibility. First of all, you should remember, first of all, you should know one thing. Most important thing. What is fraud, types of fraud, and types of fraud we have discussed. Now, important part we have discussed. who is responsible for company's fraud? Okay. Who is responsible to prevent or detect the company's fraud? Okay. You have to listen. Important point. Management responsibility to detect or prevent the fraud, not audits. Okay. Management is responsible for the fraudulent activities solved, which means management responsibility to prevent or detect and prevent the organization problem. Okay, not audits. Clear? So management responsible for detect and prevent fraud. Okay. It is management responsibility to prevent and detect fraud. Okay, not auditors. Clearly, I have mentioned here. It is management responsibility to prevent and detect fraud, not the auditors. Auditors are not expected to find every fraud. Carefully read this paragraph. It is management responsibility to prevent and detect the fraud, not auditors. Auditors are not expected to find every fraud, but they are expected to find material misstatement whether caused by fraud or error. Clear? What the difference between these two lines? Very important. The responsibility, who's responsible to detect and prevent or prevent and detect the fraud? Management, not auditors. Okay. They are organization, they are responsible to prevent and detect, not our responsibility. But what is the responsibility here? Any material misstatements happen because of the fraud. I have identified found material misstatement. They are also not misstatements. Material misstatement because of fraud. That is not responsibility. Towards that only we should work. Yeah. Then we can say cover elbow. Others are in Russian it's not our responsibility. That management responsibility to prevent and detect the frauds. Other responsibility, any medical mistakes are taken place because of fraud. That's the only thing. Okay. The auditor shall maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. Okay, I will not you have to discuss the professional skepticism. No. So, okay, I will come to it that form. The auditor shall maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. Recognizing the possibility that material misstatement due to fraud would exist, notwithstanding the auditor's past experience of the honesty and integrity of the entry's management. Okay, let's say we move on to this auditor's responsibility. So here, auditors management responsibility to prevent and detect fraud. Okay, what is auditor's responsibility? Auditor's responsibility. Auditor's responsibility is find material misstatements because of fraudulent activities. Okay. Find material misstatements because of fraudulent activities. Now, third one, Auditors' responses. Responses. Auditors' responses. The auditors' responses we can classify into three categories. Okay. First one, discussion among engagement team members. Discussion among engagement team members. Okay. Second one, discussion. Third one, further audit procedures. This is not auditor's responsibility. Auditor's responsibility finding manual statement, find manual statement, take out the law. Post by manual statement, post by production activities. Okay, that is the responsibility. Okay. In order to perform those responsibilities, our responses are discussion among the engagement team members, risk assessment, further audit procedures. The right things I have explained. Discussion among engagement team members. What is meant by discussion among engagement team members? It's like this. Once, let's say, then now you have put the engagement letter with the team, management. Now, time to perform the audit procedures. Okay, now time to perform the audit procedure. So now you have an engagement partner, engagement manager, including engagement partner and engagement manager, probably informing partner, manager, supervisor, senior, juniors. Introduce supervisor, senior, junior. Let's say altogether 90 members are there. Okay, 40 members are there. Okay, seven audit trainees and 3 partner, manager, supervisor. So altogether 10 members are there. 4 specific assignment. Clear? So that's why this is also part of the plan. So before going to the client phase, now you have the agreement. Now you have to start audit. Before going to the client phase, within the team, first of all, we are discussing about the problem. What are the possibilities? What are the possibilities available because of fraud? Material misstatements can happen. Through fraud, first we have to discuss within the team before going to the client or before discussing with the management. We as a team, we should discuss and we should understand what are the possibilities. What are the possibilities out there? What are the possibilities available? Fraud can be happen, and those frauds can lead to material mistake. Yes. We should find certain things. Okay, let's say, for example, as I told, if target pressure is there. Okay, you know, in that organization, target pressure is there. What mean by target pressure? You have achieved $50 million this time. Okay, if you know that point, yes, in order to achieve that target, company can do anything. Financially can do anything. So they have achieved the target. Target pressure is there. They may involve the problem. Okay, target pressure. Example. Target pressure. Target pressure. Second one, performance bonus. Performance bonus. As I explained earlier, so we will get 2% on the profit. Now, if you know, if you get to know this type of performance bonus than the organization, then you should take. If they increase the profit, then they can get more bonus. Then they may between the private variables, private provisions. So these are the things we have to discuss among the team. Then you should apply those things in the only process. Yeah. So first, what type of problems or what type of material misstatements can be happened because of the fraud? That discussion you should discuss. You should do among your team members. Okay, you can refer last year working papers. Last year working papers you can refer and you can get some ideas about whether frauds have been happened or not. Okay, after working papers, from that you can get. So likewise, certain things, certain procedures you have to take in this method. Risk and further procedures. After discussing these things, you have to apply these discussion points, this target pressure, performance bonus, those points. You should apply in your plan the work. In a response discussion procedure. That one, when you are discussing the you can give discuss. And next part, further audit procedure. Further audit process means step 3. Discussion is step 2. Okay, planning. Okay, planning. Step 3, further audit process. Wherever we discuss these topics, I will correct fraud audit process also in that topic. Okay. So in this topic, in this step, you should know discussion among engagement team. We have 3 audit responses. I have in blue color discussion among engagement team. Second one, risk assessment procedure. We will discuss on the audit planning section. Third audit procedure, we will discuss audit planning so audit planning so which means third step audit procedures. Okay. Sometimes I will cover these things, these 2 things to the question. Okay. Okay. What are the things included under discussion? Engagement team should discuss possible fraud and how this might occur before commencing the audit. Okay, before commencing the audit, we should discuss because this discussion will be happen within our team or outside. An exchange of ideas between engagement team about how fraud could be perpetrated. The consideration of circumstances that can be indicative of aggressive earning intention. If any target say to achieve 50 million turnover, then in order to achieve that target, they will work towards. Okay. The consideration of non factors that might be incentive to management to commit fraud. What's that? Performance bonus. Okay. Any bonus or incentive something based on the performance of profit, then you should know if they increase the profit, they will get more bonus. Then there's an indication. Okay. The factors of any unusual unexpected changes lifestyle of management of influence. Unexpected lifestyle of management make an indication. Hope that something normal salary they say in recently account of the company bought BMW car, you should think whether with this salary he can buy BMW or not. Okay, so that's also thing. What is also you have to consider. So that's also indication. Okay. Yeah. Emphasis on maintaining professional safety. Might be discussed professional later. And consideration of types of circumstances that might indicate fraud. So here you don't to remember all these things. Here also you remember 4 or 5 points. Okay. What are the things? What are the points we have to consider? What are the points we have to consider before commencing the audit? Those points can lead to fraud. I'm not saying definitely it will lead to fraud. It can lead to fraud. Because of that, it will end up with material mistake. Okay. So with that theory part, we will finish and quickly within 10 minutes we will do the question. So how many questions we have completed? Cute number 1 and question. So how many questions we have completed? What is the only? Because what is the? Huh? I think this also I have completed, you know. I have asked you to write the answer, but it's also completed, no? Sure, exam. Then we have completed this one. I can move to ninth. Okay. Then we will discuss ninth question. Ninth question is starting. So ninth and also we have discussed. We have completed. So positive we have completed. So we have to discuss second mark. So you have second mark. I have to write limits. I thought we have completed. So first we have completed, no? Then quickly can take second mark. Okay, second you.